Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the Brisbane versus Gold Coast game review, in which Brisbane ran out winners by 16 points, 44-28. I'm pretty sure they kicked a goal late to make it a little bit more of a margin than it probably was going to be. I think it was probably Taylor Smith that kicked the goal late, or was it someone else that kicked it late on to make it a little bit of a more margin. It was, let me bring it up here, it was Dakota Davidson. Taylor Smith missed one late on as well, but they had the last 5 scoring shots where they kicked 10 straight points, so it was actually at a 6 point margin after Gold Coast did score 7 points to open up the last quarter, but in the end Brisbane were too good and won it by 16 points. So let's just get into the recap here, and luckily now that we're on a Tuesday I don't have to do any of the all the videos about trade targets and stuff like that, because we're out of the doubles thankfully, so it should make it a little bit easier. We can actually go into detail about these games and who you want to target. I mean, out of this game there's probably actually no one that you want to target, to be honest, but Anderson 115, she was amazing yet again. 31 touches, 8 tackles. The only thing about this, and we've said this about Anderson quite a lot, is that she'll have games like this. This is basically her ceiling. I know that she scored a 161, but that was a freak game that I don't think she'll ever repeat. I mean, this game, if you actually look at the live scoring, it looked like she was going to repeat it, but then she fell away in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter, she got to 115 very, very quickly. She was actually at 118, I believe, at one point, with about 8 minutes to go, and then actually had a -3, and that was about all she did for the last quarter. For the last half of that quarter. So it looked like she was going to go the like a 130 in this game, but ended up a 115. So yes, she's a very good player, but she's not that top echelon that can really capitalize on their scoring to really put those 130s, 140s in that she really needs to be top of the line. She's still going to be, I think, top 5 for the year, but I just don't know if, I think that 161 is carrying way too much weight, and I don't think it's going to have, in the long run, I don't think she's going to be one I don't know if you're going to really want her in the last couple of weeks, because I think you're going to really want those ceiling type of scorers. Like, even though Charlie Rowbottom scored a 77, I don't think you'd be trading out Charlie Rowbottom to get an Ali Anderson at this point. But I also don't know if you'd be wanting Charlie Rowbottom, given her form in the last couple of weeks been pretty poor, especially when she gets tagged. She's been really poor. But anyway, Dawes 85. I just don't think you can basically go through here and you'll see that there's not you're not going to pick up Hickey because she's dueling with the likes of Hartle, and you don't want probably that, given Strom is basically single rucking and she is dominating the competition. So if you're going to trade a ruckman, you want it to go straight up to Strom. So you don't want Hickey. Dawes isn't scoring enough. Conway is a mid and isn't scoring enough regularly. Evie Long had a really good game here. She's a winger, so you probably don't want to touch her, especially because she's already about probably 450, 500k, I would think, after that performance. Let me just double check that for you guys, but I don't think she's going to be one that you want. Hodder 70, I just don't think she does this regularly. If you look at her last quarter, I think it was about a 35 point last quarter. Whereas Hodder, 29 point last quarter. She went crazy in the end. She had like 4 straight tackles at one point. It was kind of crazy looking at it. She was just tackle to tackle to tackle. If we just quickly here look up Long for a second, she's at 598k, so I wouldn't be grabbing her up. She's averaging only 50 in her last 3 games, 53.3 to be exact, and she's gone 44, 40, 51, 38, 71. So she's not 100. She's in that middle ground basically, and I think that's where she'll be for pretty much her whole career, unless she gets a move on ball, because wingers don't score terribly well in the women's game because it's not a mark-based game. Hodder we talked about. Unlinger, just there, same thing, same principle as the likes of Evie Long, but almost like 10 years older, something like that. Smith 56, key forward, no thank you. Savak, no. Mullins, no. Mullins, same thing as Evie Long effectively. Grider, no. Davidson, no. Key forward. Postlethwaite, no. Hartle, no. Hartle's probably one that you want to jump off of now, because she's got that full cash gen. She's probably got a break even of like 35 now or 40, and you want to jump off her now at like 500k. Conan's been up and down, so I'd say no. Dunn, Campbell, Savak, Bolts. Hampson and Peters. Then we move over to Gold Coast Suns, and Daisy Darcy is probably the only one I'd consider right now because she's in a little bit of form. 14 touches, 9 tackles, 2 behinds for an 84. I think she slots into that D5 rotation pretty comfortably, to be honest with you. If I just quickly get rid of long and then go defenders and then go average points, you'll see it goes Maddie Newman, Webster, Sheeran, Daisy Darcy, Gay, and Newton, Goldrick, Thomas are all of that sort of top echelon. They're all 5 points clear, I can see right now, of McAvoy and of Watson. So Newman, Webster, Sheeran, Darcy all have really, really good roles. So that would be the top 4. And then I don't know if Gay is necessarily as... She's pretty consistent though, Gay. So you probably could go her. But I would be looking at maybe a likes of a Gabby Newton as that D5 role. And then you've got Goldrick and Thomas there alongside Gay as sort of that sort of D6 to 8 between them. So that's sort of what I'm looking at. So you really want Newman, Webster, Sheeran, and Darcy, and then probably Newton as that D5, and that's sort of the top 5 that you want. Thomas is sort of there or thereabouts. That isn't the worst. But if you could get that top defenders where you have all of the midfielders, then you're doing pretty well. So that's why Daisy Darcy is in that slot there, because she plays sometimes on ball, she sometimes doesn't. Let's just check here to show you guys what I'm talking about. She might not have played on ball, but let's see, 71%, yeah, you can see that. But then also the 10 kickouts in this game, you can see, but just ultra consistent for the last, 5 weeks or 4 game weeks. She's gone above 70 in each and every game, which is just absolutely crazy. And her lowest score for the year is a 56 when she had 100% talk. That was a really poor game from her. But other than that, she's been outstanding. She had a 48 in, that was last year. The 64 as well came on small time on ground. So if that time on ground was upgraded, then that's probably looking at like a 70 plus. So she's really only had 1 bad game. And she's up there in the top defender bracket. So she's the one that I'd be targeting out of Gold Coast. Rowbottom, I think, is a hold. I forget who they play this week. But yeah, I'd be holding on to her, as I think who do they have this week? Let me just double check if it will load for a second. They've got Sydney. Maybe Kennedy goes to her, but I think she's just way too strong. We saw what Jazz Gardner did on the weekend, and we'll get to that, I think, tomorrow with the recap of that game. You'll see what Jazz Gardner did. I think Rowbottom can do a similar thing, and so I'm not too worried about the tag there. Single 67, she's slowed down. They do have Whitford coming back, I believe, next week. So that should be fine. And that should actually help Rowbottom out a little bit as well. Because it may mean that Tanya Kennedy moves to Whitford. And then maybe a Holly Cooper moves on to Rowbottom. But I don't know exactly what will happen there with the tags. Single 67, Bella, Dupoy, Barwick, Bohanna, Clayton, Gervin, Moya, Oliver, Lynch, McLaughlin. You can basically just run straight through this Gold Coast lineup, and none of them have any fancy relevance effectively, which sucks that we get to this point in the season and you basically just go 3 on-ballers or an on-baller and your key and your distributing halfback. Then you have Ruckman, forward ruck, Barwick, I forget where she's played on ball a little bit, but it doesn't score heavily enough to do that. Bohanna is their key forward. Clayton, or utility I should say, Clayton just isn't scoring enough. Gavan, Moya, a couple of forwards. Tanya Oliver is probably the last one, and it's just whether you hold her this week or not because of the cash gen she'll probably have, given that she had a really good start and then just fell away. Where is it here? You can see 31 in the first quarter and then fell away a little bit and then got an 11 in the fourth quarter to get up to a 46. So whether you hold her for 1 more week, hoping for cash gen, or whether you dump her immediately now is the big question for those people that want that. Lynch, McLaughlin, Stanton, and you can basically just run through the rest of them. So anyway, that is the video there going through the Brisbane versus Gold Coast game. If you did enjoy the analysis there, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and I will see you guys in the next recap, which will be, 1 second here, the Fremantle Carlton one, and we actually do get to the North versus Sydney one today, so you'll see my thoughts on the Tanya Kennedy versus Garner matchup in the near future. So I'll see you guys in those videos. Bye guys.